Welcome to Book Talks. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and this is the program where you get to meet the authors of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and they share their against the odds success stories to inspire you to live happier, healthier, smarter, and hopefully more prosperously. So, with us today is one of my favorite people on planet Earth. His name is Master Sergeant Cedric King, and he will transform the way you view every moment of your life. I had the honor of ghostwriting his book, and our company had the privilege of publishing his book, The Making Point: How to
Yes.
Succeed at Your Breaking Point. One of the forewords, he has two. One was written by the actor Gary Sinise, and the other was written by Howard Schultz, the former chairman of Starbucks. And what he said was, Master Sergeant Cedric King represents not only the best of America, but the best of humankind.
Wow.
I want to introduce you. I know it gives me chills every time I read that quote, but it's absolutely true. In my many years of knowing Cedric now, such an honor and privilege to call you a friend, Cedric.
Hey, listen, I feel like you're introducing somebody that I want to get an autograph for, like good gracious. Like, let me meet this guy. Let me meet this guy. Who is he? No, thank you so much. Elizabeth, hey, you know what it is. We go way back. It's truly an honor and pleasure to be here. It's a privilege to even be on here chopping it up with you and the YouTube family. Anything you need, I'm an open book, as you know, no pun intended. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm
All right.
excited. I always
Me
get
too.
excited
Me
when I
too. We
talk to you
just
guys.
shared a cool moment bonding over Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, because Cedric has him on the wall, and I have him on my office wall here. And Cedric just said, if you don't have Muhammad Ali on your wall, we need to talk.
Yeah, let's just get that out the way. Honestly, the reason why this picture right here is so important to me, I got it right after I lost my legs. I got it right after that. And it was almost like that particular picture right there where he defeated Sonny Liston had so many parallels with me in my life. He overcame someone that probably he shouldn't have beat. He overcame, someone who was a notorious mobster enforcer. He overcame so many things to become the youngest heavyweight in history. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, that picture of him standing over Sonny Liston, victorious, was almost like that is exactly where I wanted to be in my life. Way, way back then in 2012 is when I got this picture. I got it way back
Mm-hmm.
in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I wanted to overcome my Sonny Liston, like Ali overcame his Sonny Liston. And the
Mm-hmm.
more I found out about Ali, I just continued to become a voracious reader and
Mm.
student of Ali's life. And
Mm-hmm.
it actually didn't even start with Sonny Liston. It actually started with a young man by the name of Corky Baker. And I'm not sure if you're familiar about the Corky Baker story, but Corky Baker was the neighborhood bully, and Corky
Oh,
Baker
of
was
course.
beating people up. Like, I mean, he was way bigger than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, Corky Baker was lifting people upside down and shaking them until their pockets were empty and taking the kids' money. He was the neighborhood bully. He was huge, huge. And Ali knew that he wanted to be a world champion way, way back then, even when he was afraid of Corey Baker. And Corky Baker, one day, obviously, as fate would have it, he stepped to, at the time, Cassius Clay, and he wanted to fight him, and as scared as he was, Ali, he says to Corky Baker, "Hey, I'll fight you, but it's going to be in front of everybody at the community center." Ali understood that if I fight him on his terms, I'll get beat up. But if I fight him inside a ring where it's a fair fight, I would win. And sure enough, He did it, and everybody showed up. Everybody showed up.
Oh, wow. What a great
And
story.
Ali beat him. Like, I mean, it was like within the first round, he beat him. He's so
Mm,
fast, he couldn't be hit. And
mm-hmm,
this is a fair fight. And sure
mm,
enough, first that was the first bully that he overcame. And he
mm,
continued to do that throughout his life, beating
mm-hmm.
up the bully that no one else could beat. That
Right.
was his hallmark. He did it with Sonny Liston. He did it with
Mm-hmm,
George Foreman. And
mm,
he forced us to do the same. I think
mm-hmm.
he compelled us to do the same, you know.
And you certainly have done that, Cedric. So, for those who don't know you, you are an Army Ranger. You were in Afghanistan on your second tour. You stepped on an IED and you almost died. It blasted off your legs. You
Yes.
were in Walter Reed Hospital for 2 years.
Three
Miraculous.
years.
3 years?
3 years. 3 years. Yep.
Three
Yep.
years, Walter Reed
Two
Hospital.
two 2 years and 2 years and 11 months. I say 3 years.
That's a long
2 years
time.
and 11 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the course of being at Walter Reed, recovering with deep faith, family support, and
Yeah.
you made many friends, including you
Yeah.
met President Obama,
I
you
did.
met
I did.
soon to be tomorrow President Joe Biden, you met Montel Williams, you met
Yeah.
Howard Schultz of
Yeah.
Starbucks. You met a multitude of amazing individuals. Gary Sinise, the actor and veterans advocate. And so,
Yeah.
Cedric, on the eve of the inauguration, can you please talk about the importance of President Joe Biden taking office? You were in an amazing commercial for his campaign.
I
Tell
was.
us what this means to you. You have had Thanksgiving
Yeah.
dinner with when he was vice president, you had
Yeah.
dinner with him and Dr. Jill Biden and the family. Can you talk
Yeah.
about that?
Uh, I want to say to anyone who's on the line, you know, for anyone who doubts that this guy is the right guy for the job, I always thought that because he was a good man, I knew he would be a good president. I knew he would, just by the fact that when we come over to his house, he was just so willing to just hear about us. He would just ask us about what we were going through, how he could help. And like, even when it came down to the point where we were going to ask the blessing over food, he lets my daughter, my youngest daughter at the time, she couldn't have been maybe 6 years old. She's kindergarten, first grade. She asked the blessing at the table. I got a picture of it. It was just unbelievable. And right after the blessing, my youngest daughter says to Vice President Biden tomorrow, "Do you have Sprite that I could drink? I don't like tea. Do you have Sprite?" Me and my wife are looking at this whole thing go down, and like we are like, this got to be a dream. This cannot be for real. No, no, no. But obviously, they get her Sprite and everything is okay. But it's just like we go over to this guy's house for cookouts. We would go over to his house. We had a pool party. I mean, all kind of stuff. Like
Mhm,
this would be like we would go to just to eat dinner, over to guy's house.
mhm,
Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas Day, it's just all kind of stuff. So it would be great. And I knew that, his wife at the time she was still teaching online courses as the second lady of the United
mhm,
States
mhm,
of
mhm,
America. She was still teaching online courses
mhm,
to
mhm,
college students, to the
mhm,
professor, Dr. Jill Biden. And just amazing, all the things that he's gone through,
mhm,
the sacrifices that he's made, the lows as well as the highs.
mhm,
That makes for a great leader.
mhm,
I've never been of the subscribership that you could be a great leader without great loss and great gain. I think you have to have them both. You know,
mhm,
you it's going to be very hard for you to lead when you have never served. And that's not to take a shot on anybody. That's not just
mhm,
meaning service through raising your right hand and swearing to defend the country. Although I am a proponent of, you know, leaders of our country should have military service. That's just something that it's me. But I
mhm,
believe in some capacity, you should have served someone else. it's going to be very difficult for you to lead if you've never served before. You
Mhm.
don't know what it is that the people that you're leading are going through if you've never led, if you've never
Right.
served. How
Yes.
could you?
Right.
So it's not to take shots at anybody. Now, as
Uh-huh.
far as the commercial, I was contacted by someone from the Biden committee, and was like, "Hey," I get an email like, "Hey, they're looking for you. Like, you gotta respond to these emails." So I go to my email. Sometimes you can get so many emails that you're like, I don't even know. It's like a junk box. You're looking for wherever it is. So I find the email. I respond back to the people uh, at the Biden campaign, and sure enough, they sent a team down here to Atlanta, and we filmed right over in Buckhead. They just rented out an Airbnb, and we recorded it right there. But in the campaign, I lost a lot of friends. When the commercial came out, a lot of people that they were like, "Wow, I never thought it'd be you that would be the traitor, Cedric." And this is
Traitor.
this is so a lot of people would think that if you are pro-military, then you can't be pro-military and pro-Biden at the same time, right? Or you can't be pro-military and pro-Obama at the same time. There's a lot of people that feel that way. But I'm a proud patriot. I'm a proud uh, uh, survivor of military service.
Mhm.
I'm a patriot. I'm just as,
Mhm.
I'm just as much of a patriot as the people that think that on the other side.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I believe that this is the right way. If you
Mhm.
if you're down to two candidates, I gotta tell you that this guy is the better of the two routes.
Mhm.
Not just because he won, but because I've talked to the man. And I've sat
Yes.
at the man's dinner table, and I've met
Yes.
his wife, and I've
Uh-huh.
listened to his stories, and I've talked to him.
Mhm.
And this is the guy that you want as a leader.
Mhm. Mhm.
You should not want a leader who has never been a servant. You should
Mhm.
not want a leader who has not been low. You should not want a leader who has never been that low before and experienced the lows of life as well as the highs.
Right.
And that's not to say because you're rich, you're not fit to be a leader. It doesn't mean that. It just means that this man has put in time and was willing, and even was willing to ask for forgiveness with the 94 crime bill. That was one of the things that truly made me step back and say, wow, this guy sees the mistakes that he has made. He sees some of the errors that he's made in the past and is willing to man up and say, "Hey, I missed it. I messed up right there.
Wow.
I hope you
Wow,
can forgive
Cedric.
me." Why would you want that to be your leader? I
Mhm.
don't I don't get it. I lost a lot of friends because of that.
Sorry
And
to hear that.
unfortunately, I would hope that they would see that it's not my intent to pull against them, but I gotta go with my heart. We're in a country where you should be free enough to be able to say that's who I voted for and not be
Mhm.
vilified because of it.
Wow. Wow, that's so Cedric, you are a leader and you are an inspirational speaker on stages across America. You are a
Yeah.
triathlete running
Yeah.
on blades because you
Yeah.
saw the Olympics in while you were in the hospital. You saw the Olympics on the television. You're like, Doc, can I do that? And he was
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God.
no, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you were determined and you got your blades and now you run marathons and you
Yeah.
swim. You just finished swimming today. You also cycle. You are an amazing person. So,
Yeah.
can you please? You have stared down adversity like most people never have, and you have triumphed over it. Can you please share three ways that all of us during these trying times can
Yeah.
stay hopeful and persevere?
Yeah. I gotta tell you this. If I were to break it down to three things, it's this. And these are the three things that work for me. Now, I'm not saying you have to do them for you, but they definitely have worked for me all throughout last year, which should have been the litmus test for whatever you were going to do going forward.
Mhm.
So for me, waking up in spending time in prayer, spending time uh, reading just reading my Bible, giving time, the first of my day, to my heavenly Father, and
Mm.
letting me hear what it is that He has to say. Me, reading what He has to give me as far as the document itself, but also spending time in His presence. Uh, you know, me making sure that my spiritual man is fed.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I go from that to spending time in meditation. And
Yes.
meditation, some people may think that it's a crock of what, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that meditation is for real, people. I am telling you, I the ideas that I got, the connections, the nudgings that I got to call this person, or to go over and check
Yes.
on that person, or to
Yes.
even sit down and write this,
Mm.
send this email, whatever it is,
Mhm.
you are being guided by by some sort of providential hand. When you're meditating, it's almost like I tell people, it's like this. If you ever gotten the TV and you get this remote and you just go to try and operate it, right? And maybe you get it right the first time, maybe you won't. But it's almost like you first getting the manual, and you reading through the manual, and you finding out exactly how this thing works. Then trying to operate it. It's a total different experience. You go to the Apple store and you try and tell them what's wrong with your phone, and they say, "Well, if you had just came here, we would have told you this is how you do it." It's like going to the Genius Bar at the Apple store. They know everything about this phone, and they can tell you how to operate it better. Well,
Wow.
when you're meditating, it's almost like you are being given the user manual for your life. It's almost like a user manual. You try operating life without it, you may get results, you may not get results. You might go through the whole life trying to figure out how to do this or that, and you get
Cedric.
marginal results at best.
Yes.
But
So,
when you open up that doggone user manual and you start just you're like a technician. It's exactly the way
wow.
that I feel with meditation. It's almost like you're living life with the user manual. You can't even
Wow.
compare. And you can't even compete with the guy that has the user manual. You can't. You can't. It's like going to
So,
the Apple store.
Cedric, this is amazing. Okay. So, can you please tell me what type of meditation you're using, and also share? I can't emphasize enough the importance of people understanding that meditation is like two-way communication with the divine, with your spirit,
It
with God,
really is.
source, creator, whatever you want to attribute. It could just be your inner voice, your heart and soul. Meditation gives you guidance on how to live better, how to,
Tell you right
like you
now.
just said, when to make that phone call, when to write that, what to
Yeah.
write. It's magical. It feels miraculous. And so I'm on a mission for every person on the planet to learn how to meditate, because it
Yeah.
transforms your whole life from the inside out.
It
So what
is.
do you do,
It does.
Cedric?
I will tell you, I do TM. I was actually given TM. I was actually introduced to it 2-3 years ago at a retreat. I was at a wounded veterans retreat, and they actually had a someone there to guide you through TM every day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, every single day for 8 days, right?
And that's
And this was like
transcendental meditation.
it's transcendental meditation. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So people call it TM. It's actually transcendental meditation, and
Hmm.
it gave me this word. He gave me this word where you say it. It's actually called not a word, but it's actually called like a mantra, right?
Hmm.
And when I am saying this mantra, in the beginning, I didn't understand why I had to say this mantra, why I had to hold this mantra in my mind. I had to say it again and again and again. But if you've ever tried meditating, what it is, you feel defeated because your mind is going to be very uncomfortable when it gets into this. It'll feel like it's in like a jail almost. It'll feel like it's like, I'm thinking about, if I left the oven on, did I close the window? I didn't know if I locked my doors. All
Right.
these things will be running through your mind, and
Yeah.
you will feel like that you're not meditating, right? You'll feel
Mhm.
defeated.
Mhm.
And some people feel like that, their mind is actually the one that's in control. But the truth
Mhm.
is, that's exactly what it's supposed. That's how it's supposed to happen. You're doing the right thing. You're normal. That means you're normal. And I would feel so defeated after sitting there for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, nothing happened. It didn't work. No, it did work. But you're so used to not being, your mind is so used to not being still that you
Yes.
feel like nothing happened. No, it did. But you're going to have to build up your muscle. No different
Mhm.
than anything else. You're going to have to build this muscle up. And I
Mhm.
believe that you will get to a place, for me, it's almost euphoric when I get to a place where there is no thought, there is nothing, but I feel like I'm floating actually. I feel like I'm
Yes.
actually floating.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and it's the greatest feeling where
Mhm.
I'm just sitting there and there's no thought and
Mm.
it's truly blissful and there's
Mm.
only peace. Some people feel defeated when you fall asleep and you and the only way that you know you've been sleeping because you wake up. Well, that's okay. That's okay. There is no, I don't think you can lose when you decide to give your mind and your spirit peace and quiet. I don't think that you can lose. You can only win, and there could only be a better life. What do you
Mhm.
think about that?
Oh, as somebody who's been meditating for 10 years and you and I have actually meditated together, it's my go-to source of peace. I do it daily. I teach it. I lead a guided meditation every Wednesday night for people all across the country. It boosts your immune system. It calms your mind. It empowers your creativity into a genius zone. It connects you with spirit. It enhances your pleasure. Food tastes better. The air feels softer. The sun feels warmer on your
Uh,
face. Everything. The blanket feels softer on your skin. It enhances. It is a sensory extravaganza. And there are
yeah,
people who use like mushrooms and teas and stuff to enhance. No, you don't need that. Just
your
get
brain already
quiet.
has it. You
Yes.
already have it inside. You
Yes.
already have a pharmacy of everything you need inside you already.
Yes.
And tapping into this is just, I believe it's the doorway to getting to that.
Yes.
You ever been so and people be able to relate to this. You're in traffic, right? And somebody that wants to get in and they're giving you the signal light, right? They're giving you the signal light and they're trying to cut in, but they're doing it late. They should have done it probably a quarter mile back. You had time enough, but because you tried to sneak in here at the end, you're gonna cut me off. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna honk on the horn. But since I've been meditating, there's been
That's it.
this
That's
this
it.
not need to retaliate.
No.
It's almost like, hey, if I was that person, I wouldn't be wanting to have the guy behind me honk at me because I'm trying my best to get to where I got to go. You almost feel empathetic. You put yourself in that person's shoes and
Right.
you say, hey, maybe she's trying to get to work,
Yeah.
and she's a little late. Maybe she had something happen today.
Mhm.
Just let her go. Give her, that's a gift in itself. Giving someone the peace to be able to cut you off in traffic and not have a honk horn, at you. That's
Mhm.
a gift that you're giving them.
Mhm. Yes.
And in turn, you will receive something back from that gift that you give to them. I
Mhm.
believe it also happens in the other way when you react out of emotion, which it's so easy to do when you're not
Mhm.
meditating. You can react out of emotion, and
Right,
anytime
right.
you react out of emotion, you're two steps behind.
Yeah. So, Cedric, I think that meditation reduces your reactions. Like if I drop a glass on the kitchen floor and it breaks,
Oh
I
my
just
God.
sweep it up. I don't react. I'm like,
Oh my
uh-oh.
God.
Yes, isn't that great? So when you use the traffic analogy, it's like, okay, there's a lot of traffic, whatever. I'm okay, I'm good. And other people, you're like a Teflon pan and like little droplets of water just roll off when stuff happens. You just don't, you're like, okay, I'm good because you're
The
connected to
lady in
this
the
source.
the
This
lady
source.
in the pool today, Elizabeth. The lady
Uh-huh.
in the pool today. You know, when you get in the pool, you start swimming laps. Older ladies, they don't care. They're gonna get in there and they're gonna do their little workout, and they're gonna do like it's almost like you see me swimming here. Just go over to the other lane. Instead, we have the greatest conversation. Now, this is a 80-year-old Korean lady. We have nothing in common, but but just by the fact that you allow her to do her, and I am just doing me, it creates a synergy that is always there. We just don't tap into it. As a matter of fact,
Mm.
we repel it. We repel it because I want it my way. I want to have a lane. I want her. It would be easy if she just got out of the way. No, there's a synergy that is always there if you can tap into it, if you allow it to be what it is. I mean, like I could talk about this forever. Don't get me. I go.
But you know what, Cedric? That
It's
synergy, when you meditate, you realize that we are all one collective humanity, and all these divisions and conflicts that we're seeing and that have happened throughout humankind are pointless because we are all one human collective species that is all about love, because our spirits are part of that source energy, that owner's manual direction that you get, that
yeah,
electricity, that pulse that keeps us alive. And that has no color, that has no
yeah.
religion or political affiliation, that has no race, that has no religion. It's pure God spirit in all of us. And the more of us who meditate, we see that, and it brings us together. It dissolves all the divisions.
There is nothing inside your body. So if you go inside the body, inside any human body, all cells are working or they should be working together, right? If there's any cell inside the human body that is not working toward health, life, it is attacked. It is immediately attacked and it's gotten rid of because
Mhm.
everything goes in the same direction. It's no different like that in our country. All of us have the opportunity to experience unity. We all have that. We have an opportunity to have unity, but I think that there are divisions, and that is where you see what we saw last week at the Capitol. And it's not and to their and look to their credit, we all want a good nation. We all want a superior nation. We all want a superior society where there is giving and there is love and there is unity. Some people want to go about it like this. Some people say, well, we'll have that same outcome like this. We all are trying to achieve the same thing. We all are trying to achieve the same thing. We want a great nation. So how do we get that? How do we get to that place? It's
Mhm.
going to come by us sitting down and having a conversation with each other.
Mm.
Um, it's I think it's not outside of our reach. It's very much within our reach. You just must sit down and have a conversation. You must be willing to want to have a conversation with the people on the other side of the table. Matter of fact, get rid of the table. We're all at one table in one circle with chairs, no table at all. It's just us sitting together. Um,
Do you think that can happen though? I mean,
I do. I do. It will happen. It will happen. And it will happen with this generation of young people that's coming
mm,
up right now.
mhm.
And I'll tell you why. these young people are being raised differently with the internet. My daughters, they hang out with people on TikTok from Europe. You know, somebody posts a funny meme, or I don't even know if they say memes anymore, but somebody posts a funny video
Uh-huh.
on TikTok, and they're on the other side of the planet. This community is being pulled closer and closer and closer, and they're having friends that don't look like them, and they're having friends
Mm.
that don't speak their language, and they're
Mm-hmm.
having friends that they don't care where they grew up at. I will tell you, all of us that are probably, I don't know, 40 and over, we all were raised in some sort of a racist society. Even a little bit, even a little bit. And I say it like this. If you listen to rock, and from where I'm from, if you listen to hard rock, if you listen to Nirvana, where I'm from, rural North Carolina, you'd be made fun of if you're black. And if you're white and you were listening to uh, uh, NWA, then you were trying to be black. No, these kids these days, it's you listen to whatever you want to, and it's not you're trying to be this or that. It's a better way to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
better way to grow up. Now they
Mm-hmm.
do have challenges that we never had before,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that they are a better people. They are going to be a better, closer knit people. They're
Mm-hmm.
not going to see color, and they're not going to see this or that, unless we get in the way, unless people our age get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that it will be thwarted. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's beautiful, Cedric. So the tips on how to stay hopeful through all of
Oh,
this,
I
and
forgot
you
to tell.
said
Well, we only got two of them.
prayer, meditation. What's number
Yeah,
three?
and the other one has got to be physical fitness.
Oh, of
Uh,
course.
it's got to be you and you addressing your physical health every day. Now, some people get carried away and say, "Well, I don't have an hour to give." No, it's not about having more time to give to it. It's you gotta start with something. You have to start with something. If you say, "I only got 10 minutes," okay, all right, well, use the 10 minutes that you do have
Mm-hmm.
and walk from the car to the door of the job, back to the car, back to the door of the job, back to the car until you get your 10 minutes. If that's
Mm-hmm.
all you have, if
Mm-hmm.
you got 10 minutes and you say, well, it's too cold outside, okay, well, you got a stairwell in your office. It's go from the first floor to the fourth floor, back and forth till you get your 10 minutes. And this is the way that it works. When you start to give what you have, what will happen is more will be given to you. And scripture
Mm-hmm.
says that,
Mm-hmm.
he who has, more will be given. And he
Mm-hmm.
who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. If you don't use what you have, it's going to be taken away. If you've ever
Mm-hmm.
woken up at at 12:30 in the afternoon, your day is gone because you did not use what you had. Now, if you've ever by contrast, if you've ever woken up early and started giving early, then you will be able to see you'll get more and more and more and more of your day back. It's
Mm-hmm.
you just being able to give what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You using what you have. And I believe that by you giving that 10 minutes and that 10 minutes consistently every day, I believe more time will be afforded to you. You will
Mm-hmm.
be able to see the gaps in time that you were throwing away. You will be able to see how you can use those for your benefit for physical fitness. But having a strong, healthy body is going to be necessary. Um, Let me make sure you can hear me. There you go. I think having a strong, healthy body going forward in the years to come, you got to have a healthy body to live this life.
Mm-hmm.
Health, and we've seen it more now than ever before. Health actually is your wealth. You can't,
Yes.
like today, if you are healthy today, if you are able to avoid going to the hospital, if you're gonna avoid getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
You are a lucky joker. You are a
Yeah.
really great individual. You really
Yeah.
are.
So
A lot of
Cedric, it's
people that
so
in
Mhm.
2020 that did not leave in 2020.
That's right. That's right. And many people who I know who have had COVID said that their starting point of being very healthy and physically fit enabled them to have mild or no symptoms, whereas others who were not in a healthy physical fitness state and didn't
Yeah.
have a healthy diet or healthy lifestyle really suffered.
Let me say this. It's easier to continue to stay in shape than it is to get back in shape again. Let me say that. Let me say it one more
Mm.
time. It's easier for you to maintain staying in shape than you starting all over again and trying to get in shape. It's almost like getting your cable cut off and then trying to have it cut back on again. It's going to cost you more.
Right.
It'd be cheaper for you just to keep the payment going, right? But if you call them jokers up and say, hey, look, I'm gonna need you to come in and cut the cable back on again because I let the bill lapse. And say, hey, look, we gotta charge you what's called a reconnection fee.
Right.
A reconnection fee costs you way more. It'd be cheaper for you to go ahead and just keep the payment going. It's like that with your body too. You fall off. You fall off a couple months and not work out 2, 3 months, depending on how out of shape you are. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you get back in that gym and you're gonna be huffing and puffing. It's going to be harder for you to get back where you were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just just continue to stay in shape. Pick a
Mm-hmm.
routine that you can stick with. It's not about how many miles you can do or in one day. It's about how many days you can do that 1 mile. You know,
Oh, I
it,
love
it,
that.
it's consistency. It's continuing to do whatever you can do. That
Mm-hmm.
is exactly where you're going to win at.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, it's this. You got to have a goal. For me getting in that pool and smelling like chlorine, it's a good thing I'm not with you right now. I smell like chlorine. But it's fine. Go on the website, find a 5K, 10K to do. It doesn't matter if it's virtual, it doesn't matter if it's in person. But if you know how hard you would work out if you know that you got something coming up,
Uh-huh.
you'll bust your tail because you're trying to get to something. And
Mm-hmm.
series of you doing that every year.
Mm-hmm.
Plan a race to run in December, November, maybe. And when you're doing that all year long, you're working toward that goal. And yes, it's partly for that race day, but look at all the health benefits that you're getting all throughout the year as you're working toward that goal. For
Mm-hmm.
me, running a marathon every year, it keeps me from getting out too far out of shape. I'm
Mm.
always going to be putting in mileage. I'm
Uh-huh.
always going to be preparing. I'm always going to be out there on a treadmill or getting in a 5K or 10K.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
You're amazing, Cedric. You've run the Boston Marathon how many times?
Uh it's probably about six times probably. Probably
Uh-huh.
six. So I got my medals over here.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I love it. And the New York Marathon,
Yeah.
multiple Ironman competitions, the Disney Marathon.
This
Um,
year, this year it was my first 30 miler, right? It's my first
mm,
ultra marathon. So it's only 4 more miles. But after you've run 26, 4 more miles can feel like 40 miles. But we're able to
yeah.
do it. I was able to get in a 30 miler. Now, the way that
Mm-hmm.
it was done virtually because of, the COVID-19 and quarantine. But we were able to do it. The stipulations were you had to do 30 miles within 24 hours. And I was able to do it. Me and my best friend Kenya, we ran a 30 miler, 16 miles,
Wow.
16 miles on Saturday, and we woke up early Sunday and knocked out another 14. We got 30, and
Wow. And I just want to reiterate. Hmm?
did it right here in Atlanta.
That's
We started it.
awesome.
We started in Buckhead and ran down toward Piedmont Park, ran on the new Beltline trail they have here in Atlanta. It's a jogger's paradise, basically.
Oh, really?
And we ran back. 2 days of that will get you 30 miles.
And let me just remind everybody that Cedric is running on blades.
Yeah,
Cedric is.
As a matter of fact, hold up. So this is what they look. I know a lot of people may be like, well, what does that look like? It's actually this.
Okay.
This is one of them. So, and people think that you have some kind of advantage because say, oh, they're springy. Well, not really. Yeah, they're shaped a little bit like this, but you're not getting much. You're getting only what you put in. Not like I'm getting like an unfair advantage or like I have like a pogo stick here. It's basically you're using what you have, and it's going to give you only what you have. Human body, and anybody out there that has legs, trust me, you can do far more than what I can do because you have 2 ankles and 2 kneecaps and 2 calves and 2 quads, 2 glutes. The human body is so incredibly designed, and you don't know that until your legs have been taken away. But I mean, every single movement that the human body makes, it's like an engineer's. It's a masterpiece. It really is. You don't know that until you start missing what a calf or a foot can do in conjunction with one another. When they're working in concert, it's so efficient. It's so efficient. I have to run using my hips. I don't have calves. I don't have, and the quads that I do have, they're not connected to anything. So I have to use all hips. Which after a while, you gotta go to the machine at the gym, the one that I guess I never noticed this before, but all the women at the gym, they hate to make eye contact with the leg spreader.
There's the inward and the other one. There's 2 of them.
The other one, you pull it back in. I hate those machines. So I'm like this on the machine the whole time, like. Every woman in the gym probably feels my pain because I'm like this. I'm like the only guy in the gym like this. Like, just don't make eye contact with anybody. So weird, right? So weird. So, but that's those are the ones that really help me out. I gotta have stronger hips,
But you do not let anything stop you. In the book, when you talk about your Boston Marathon, one of your experiences where you went into the resting tent for a minute and these 2 women saw you and you were in agony. You were in agony.
Yeah.
And these 2 women, able-bodied women, saw you and they're like, if he's going to keep going, I'm going to keep going.
But the thing is, I didn't even know that they were having that conversation. I didn't even know that they were having that conversation. And I tell people this because there may be someone that is watching you and you have no clue that you don't even know that they're watching you. These ladies made the decision that if I got up and walked out of that tent, that they were going to do the same thing. Now, it wasn't until 6 miles later that they come up to me and they tell me, you're the only reason why we're getting to this finish line.
Wow.
That was way back at mile 18 that I walked out of the tent. At mile 24, they passed me en route to the finish line and say, hey, look, if it wasn't for you, man, we wouldn't have came out of that tent. We had every single, our intention was to get out right there at that medical tent, get on the train and go back to our car. But we saw you get up, and when you got up, we were going to get up.
You have so many amazing stories that demonstrate the power of perseverance. For example, when you were in the New York City Marathon and you had a new prosthetic blade, you like the screws were popping out of the leg, and people running into pizzerias trying to find a screwdriver and parts, and then they used a lighter to melt the plastic against your leg. I mean,
That was the toughest marathon of them all, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And because it wasn't necessarily because of the terrain, because if that's the case, Boston is harder than them all if you talk about just terrain. But because of the logistics and because of the hazards and because of the things that were happening, it gave me reasons to quit, you know. And sometimes in life we look for reasons to quit. Sometimes reasons to quit look for us. It just depends on what's going on. For me, I had tons of reasons to quit come and look for me. The prosthetic was just, it was getting colder and colder and colder. My leg was shrinking more and more and more, and it just became unbearable. Then the screws start coming loose out of the prosthetic. So I'm like, where in the world am I going to find an Allen wrench to fit a 3/32 screw? How in the world? Where? I got my guides running all over Brooklyn trying to find these tools. We're looking in fire trucks. People are asking policemen. I'm like, man, that's a great excuse to quit. If you wanted to
Right.
quit, that's a great excuse to quit. I could go
Uh-huh.
back to anybody with all sincerity and say, hey, I didn't get it done. The prosthetic broke.
Right.
You
Right.
really, when you really are unwilling to quit, you'll find a way. You will find
Mm-hmm.
a way. Now, if you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to do it, you will find a way to quit. If you don't want to do
Mm-hmm.
it. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want to do? Do you want to find a way to finish, or do you want to find a way to quit? It's just, it
Ooh.
really what it comes down to. And we found a way to keep going. We found a way
Mm-hmm.
to continue to keep going. I truly believe that there are going to be things in life to just try and test your resolve, not to get in your way for you to quit, but just to see how bad you really want it. And when you are able to address those things and say, hey, look, I really want it, I'm going to stick around until we find a way. Look, Elizabeth, it got to the point where I was going so slow that the police cars and the fire trucks were right behind me, like on the speaker, on the loudspeaker. This is the end of the New York City Marathon. All participants must move to the right and to the left sidewalks because traffic is about to commence. They did this for probably about a mile or two, right? And I'm like, whatever, you're gonna have to hit me, right? Until I actually saw cars coming by me in New York City. So we get off to the side of the sidewalk and we finish the rest of the marathon on the sidewalks of New York
Is
City, which is horrendous to do. It's nightmarish. But we end up finishing it. And to me, to be honest with you, because that one was the hardest marathon, I ran from it. I ducked it. I dodged it for 5 years. For 5 years, I dodged it until 2019, right before COVID. Um, I ran the New York City Marathon again, and it was actually the easiest marathon I had ever run.
Oh, wow, that's great, Cedric. That's
It
awesome.
was the absolute party of a lifetime.
Oh.
Was and it was just due to, it was better weather. It was better weather, but it was a better. I had a better mindset. I was coming to, for redemption. I was coming to face my fears and coming to actually just say, hey, look, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not going to run from you anymore. I'm going to show up and I'm going to give it all I got. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be the best marathon ever. And it was my fastest marathon I've ever run. From the
Wow.
slowest to the fastest. From the slowest,
Wow.
I will tell you, it was better weather. It's the same route though, same 26.2 miles.
Uh-huh.
A larger crowd.
Mm.
It was just a mindset. I
Mm.
had a mindset. I wasn't going to try and run too fast. We had a pace. We were better prepared. We had better nutrition. It was a
Mm.
better run race.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, Cedric. Well, you are mastering it all, and your newest endeavor is to help save the lives of veterans who are
Yeah.
facing the horrific suicide rate. Before the pandemic, it was 22 veterans per day. I don't even know.
Yeah.
What is the new number?
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take it down. What we're hoping is that the new number, if it's higher than 22, we don't want to put that out there. Our intent
Oh, good.
is to
Okay.
make sure that the 22, I truly wanted to be something to where one day we could say vets do not deal with suicide. At least American veterans do not have that happen anymore. Just like we
Mm.
eradicated polio and we eradicated
Mm-hmm.
smallpox, this should be just like that. There's
I
no
love that.
world that we bring a service member home from war alive and they come home and they die not at the hands of an armed enemy but at the hands of themselves. That is just that is worse than them dying at the hands of an armed enemy. They vow to protect our nation. We vow to protect our nation from enemies, foreign and domestic. So when they come home, they don't die to some enemy here domestically. They die to the hands of themselves. I've had several friends. I've had several friends, unfortunately, take their own life after. And these aren't bad guys. These aren't people that you will be able to pick them out of a lineup. You wouldn't be able to pick them out. You'd say, well, that guy right there is getting ready to be a mayor of some city somewhere. That guy is getting ready to take over a Fortune 500 company. This guy over here is getting ready to be the next general of the army. It's just you would suspect that these guys are getting ready to take over the world. And when I take a look on Facebook, on Instagram, I see a picture of me and a couple other buddies and see the words in the bottom of the caption, RIP. We'll see you again. It 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 it's really no words for it because it's not like it's a car accident, you know. It's this person saw that there was no light at the end of the tunnel, right? And there's no excuse for it. Not in the most developed country on the entire planet where there are the greatest military, the most capable military on the planet. How does this happen in this society? You know?
Mm.
And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just happening for military. Unfortunately, this happens for everybody. But specifically in this particular a group of people, we're losing them at a rate that is just unfathomable. So what we've done is I've put together a team. I've gotten with a team here in Atlanta and partly in DC, and
Mm-hmm.
some are in North Carolina. It's a small team of people. We meet every week or so, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, and we are pushing this agenda. We have a solution that we're about to roll out pretty soon here, I think within the next month or two,
Mm-hmm.
that will be able to address vets in this suicide epidemic. It will be
Wow.
not will not be something that we haven't tried before, but it'll be a twist on what we've tried before.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not the psychiatrist that actually developed the tool, but
Mm-hmm.
I definitely am a proponent of it, and I'm going to be one of the ambassadors for this tool. We're rolling it out
Beautiful.
veteran organizations worldwide, especially here in the
Uh-huh.
States, starting with the VA,
Mm-hmm.
rolling it out to the VA. That's one of their highest priorities right now, and making sure that they get this tool rolled out.
Wow. That's
And I'm
excellent.
pretty sure, and pretty soon, we're going to roll it out to where this will be accessible to civilians as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is going to be something. Obviously, it first of all it needs to be pilot. You have to have a pilot program.
Mm-hmm.
Know that this works. It has to have a sample size where we see how it behaves. We see how people work with it and test this thing. But we believe that this will be it'll definitely put a dent into the suicide epidemic.
Beautiful, Cedric. Beautiful.
Help
That's
people.
wonderful. Well, definitely keep me posted on that. That's really remarkable. And you speak medicine. You speak in such a way that heals the heart, soul, and mind. So I'm certain that you will have positive outcomes with every person whose life you touch.
I pray, and I pray that I'll be able to knock out this gallon of water. This gallon of water is not easy to move. It's not. It's looking back at me like, yep, I'm still here. So I try to get in water too. That's one of the things in 2020 that I try to be better at. Try and make sure I'm hydrated. I'm getting better at it. Water is one of those disciplines where, if you can master it,
Yes.
it pays in dividends,
It does. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cedric, is there anything else you'd like to share on the eve of Inauguration Day to welcome President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden into the White House? And you're launching this program to save veterans' lives, and you're committed to your three things every day: prayer, meditation, and exercise. Anything else you can share with us on how to make it through till things improve in terms of the pandemic and politics and all that?
Yeah, I would, a lot of people, my daughters included, they are waiting for someday, right? They're waiting for the day in the future to bring about some goodness, right? And I believe that's if you're waiting for 2021 to bring you something that 2020 did not give you, then I believe you'll be waiting in futility. I think that you have to create it. It's like energy. Some people say, man, I'm so tired. There's no way I've got enough energy to go out there and exercise. Well, energy is one of these things that you don't get by drinking. Although I love drinking Red Bulls. I do. But I don't drink them for the energy. You create energy. You're not giving energy. You create energy. You're not giving a good day. You create a good day. You're not given a good year, or a good year doesn't just fall in your lap. No, you have to create it. It's something that you don't summon. It's not something you're given. It's something you summon. You create it. You create a good day. You create a good year. And if you're sitting around waiting for 2021 to be good, where 2020 was not good, you can be waiting for a while, man. You got to create a good day. You got to be the good that you want to see. It's like these. I love football. I love watching football. I love watching sports. But if you're waiting around for the referee to call something, you'll be waiting for a long time. No, you have to go win the game. The referee rarely is going to win the game for you. You got to go out and you got to win the day. And too many times I heard people saying, oh my God, 2020 is gone. Well, 2020, yeah, it may be gone. But if you think 2020 had some type of black cloud hanging over it, and 2021 is going to be some ray of sunshine, you fooling yourself, man. You're fooling yourself. You got to be the ray of sunshine. You got to look at 2020 and say, hey, man, it's a lot of good that came out of there. Yeah, it was some unfortunate things that happened. But, man, I'm still here. So that means that 2020 couldn't have been so bad if you're still here. 2020 is bad as you may have called it. Hey, it still brought you a blessing of life. You still here, man. What you complaining about? Make 2021 better. Make not even the whole year. Make today better. Make right now better. That's where it's going to start at. Start developing habits you could be proud of. Start doing things that you can look in the mirror and say, golly, man, we did it. We walked around the block. We did our first 5K. Hey, we got our first gallon of water. Whatever it is. Hey, we wrote the pages to our first book. Whatever it is. Just do what you know you should do, and 2021 will be better. 2022 will be better. 2023 will be better. The year may be challenging, but you will be better. And if you are better, life will be better. We
Yes.
got so caught up in the thinking that 2020 was some sort of thief. Man, that's like always thinking that if that's the case, that any day can be a thief. I just refuse to let it happen. I'm not going to sit around and say that time or this day or that year or this hour or that number, whatever it is, has power over me in my life. No, it starts with me and it ends with me.
Yes. Yes.
That's the way it's got
Yes.
to be.
Yes. I love it.
I get kind of wound up about it. I get so frustrated hearing people say, oh man, 2020. You still alive. How bad
Yes. Right. Absolutely.
Years, I'll tell you right now, 96 was tough. 96 was tough on me. 2002 was tough. 2020 was actually not bad at all. If you still alive, it could have been so much worse.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
loved ones.
Like your shirt says, breaking points are making points.
So I'm telling you, I wear this in the gym, and people are like, "Yo, where did you get that from?" And I was like, "Man, my buddy Bruno made it for me." But I don't
Oh.
T-shirts. Bruno gave me these T-shirts. He's over in Paris right now. He's still in Paris.
Oh, okay.
But I would tell you, it's just you gotta be 2020. You gotta be the good cloud. You gotta be the ray of sunshine. You gotta be it.
I love that. We can all be our own ray of sunshine, and together we make a brighter world.
Look at this.
So,
this is the starter right here. Come in. A last Chick-fil-A.
You have 6 of them.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you got. All right, well, I got 6 of them, I guess. Maybe it's not my last. All right, you can have it. You can have it. Love you.
Love you too.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, the book, everybody should read Cedric's book, The Making Point. It is a life changer, a game changer. And your wonderful, beautiful wife, Kaida, is an absolute angel presence in your life throughout your recovery from the losing your legs in Afghanistan and the grueling recovery that followed. So, Cedric, thank you for being an amazing, amazing ray of sunshine in our world.
Thank you so much. Elizabeth, as always, we thank you. God bless you. Give our love to the family. God bless.
I will. You do the same. You do the same. And thank you, all of you, for watching Master Sergeant Cedric King, author of The Making Point, who is an internationally known inspirational speaker on stages everywhere, who spins words and ideas in ways that really make us think and sets the example that anything is possible. He always says, if I can run a marathon and do a triathlon with no having lost my legs, then you can do anything. And for that, Cedric, I absolutely thank you for being this wonderful, wonderful presence to light up our world.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So thank you for watching Book Talks, and please do share this with your friends who need some inspiration, because Cedric's 3 tips on how to stay hopeful and persevere through these times, prayer, meditation, and exercise, are absolutely invaluable. Thank you again for watching. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. And I immensely appreciate your time this evening. So please do like, share, subscribe, and we'd love to hear a comment or any question you might have for Cedric. So be well and